This meeting is called to order at 6:30 p.m. on Monday, November 27th, 2017. This meeting is being recorded. Move to accept the minutes of our meeting 2 weeks ago as written.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Minutes are accepted. Okay, announcements. This coming Wednesday at 4 p.m., the Gay Kimball Library Board of Trustees will meet. That is 1 week earlier than usual. That's because Catherine Caligari is back on board as the library director, and we wanted to meet with her this week instead of waiting until next week. On Thursday at 6:30 p.m., the Budget Committee meets at the Samuel E. Paul Community Center. They'll be going over the budgets for the Police Department and Public Works. On Friday night, 6:30 p.m. at the Troy Elementary School, roller skating. $3 with your own skates, $5 if you rent the skates. Skate at your own risk. Please wear protective equipment, and music by DJ Ray Ray. Then on Saturday morning from 7 to 10 a.m., the community breakfast at the Samuel E. Paul Community Center. And next Friday, that would be the 8th, is movie night at the community center. Barbara, do you have any additional announcements?
No, we are on hiatus. The festivals committee is
okay.
on hiatus
All right.
till next
Curtis,
week.
anything else?
Nope.
Okay, good. Old business. Complaints on Richmond Road. Anything to report on that?
No.
Okay.
I'm sure the injunction is probably going forward.
Well, I know we received the letter from Cy Little, stating that, or giving us copies of the sheriff's return of whatever they call it, showing that he had served the papers.
Yes.
Yeah, so, of which by itself doesn't really mean a whole lot.
No.
Okay. Ridley map. Anything further on that?
No. We have not heard from correct.
Okay. Job descriptions.
We had to redo one already
Okay.
this past week because Jimmy has another license that is being added
Yep.
to his.
Okay.
But we will get into that later. We need to hire someone.
And
His job description is
Yeah,
complete.
but we also talked with him about separating out some of his duties that he's acquired over the years.
Correct. And
That's
That
being,
has
that's being
been-
taken into consideration.
it was that's completed also.
Okay, forensic audit. We're still working on putting all those invoices together that Sergeant Eaton wants, and hopefully we'll get that taken care of in the next couple of days. Okay, fundraiser update from Attorney General. Is this something new, or is this?
Can we take that off now?
Sure, absolutely.
Good.
Okay, Troy Redevelopment Group. Anything, Curtis?
Nothing.
Okay. Central Square complaint. Looks like he's done a good job of cleaning that up.
Yes. And
And you're going to want to discuss that later. Okay.
correct.
All right, Troy Mills parking lot. We sent the invoice. Have we heard back from him, Melissa?
No, we have not.
Okay. New Hampshire DES letter for Troy landfill sampling. This is the one we're going to have Jimmy review the letter.
And after Jimmy read the letter, he realized he needs to up the transfer station budget line item 4321668 up to 13330.
Increase it, yeah.
Increase it from the 12,000.
Okay. That's after reading that letter?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I assume that he found something in that letter that tells him he has to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Did he
State
share with us
testing.
what it was?
State testing. It came down from the state. This isn't an option. This is
Okay.
something we need to do. And so
Okay.
that is the cost.
Now, there were two things in that letter that we were concerned about. One was, did we have to do anything at the landfill? So this sort of answers that.
Correct.
But the other had to do with the fire department. Did he review that?
I believe he turned that over to Mark, but I'm not sure, but I will check with him.
Please do, okay. I move that we increase the, this is the transfer station budget line?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the
Transfer
line.
station budget, line 4321-668, from 12,000 to 13,330.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, will you make those changes, please, Alyssa?
Yes.
Okay, new business. Keno. We had that inquiry from Dragon Palace, so I did a little research on that. You know, recently, earlier this month actually, there's 10 New Hampshire cities voted on this, or had the opportunity to vote on it. Portsmouth opted not to even put it on the ballot. 5 cities approved it. 4 turned them down, including Keene. The original count actually was 6 and 3, but they did a recount in Rochester, so they flipped from yes to no. The reason that they voted on it, not the towns, is because that's when the cities do their voting in November for their city elections. We get our chance to vote on it in March. So I'm sure we'll be getting something from the State Lottery Commission telling us the procedure, whether it goes on to a warrant article for town meeting or whether it's on the written ballot that you fill out at the election on Tuesday of that week. At this point, we don't know what's involved. But the only organizations, only businesses that can apply for a Keno license are what they call pouring establishments. That's Pouring, meaning they serve liquor by the drink. So Minute Mark, for example, would not be eligible. Dragon Palace would be. Now, Granite Roots, I don't know if they would be because they have kind of a limited license. They're only allowed to serve a certain amount of beer, just like a sampling.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they would come under or not, or whether they would want to. I don't know of any other.
Me neither.
Well, actually, the
Thai bamboo?
Thai Bamboo has a liquor license.
Oh, I did not know that. Do they serve liquor?
Yeah.
Oh,
So they would be eligible to apply if they wanted to. I doubt they would. Dragon Palace has a bar.
correct.
And that's where the atmosphere where you're going to be doing this. The way this works is if you get the permit, you sign on with the State Lottery Commission, and they install a terminal in your place of business. And to play Keno, I've heard of Keno for years. I've never played it, never knew how to play it until I did this research. You fill out a form, a card, and you pick from 1 to 12 numbers. The more numbers you pick, the harder it is to win. So you try to match them, like Lotto. So you can go anywhere from 1, you can try and match 1 number, you can try and match 12 numbers. And the more numbers you choose, the harder it is to win, but the greater the payout. Then you choose your bet. You can bet from $1 up to $25. And of course, the more you bet, the more you win. But you can also bet on how many times you want to play it. So you can play it just once, or you could play it 10 times. And the thing puts out new winning numbers every 5 minutes. It runs from 11 a.m.
So you wait your 5. You bet, you get another drink, and you wait your 5.
That's right. That's right. A lot of money's going to change hands with this.
Yeah.
And it runs from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week.
Okay, do you know what the cut that the business establishment gets?
I don't recall, but I did read it. The State Lottery Commission has 2 downloadable brochures. One for players that tells you how to play Keno. That's where I learned all this stuff.
Okay.
And another one for the hosting establishments that talks about their
Okay.
requirements. And I'm pretty sure it was mentioned in there.
How much the cut is
What their
for
cut
the
is, yeah.
establishment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I know what the town's cut is.
Nothing.
0.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're going to get as much out of that as we earn, which is 0, because we don't have anything to do with it. But that's really, that's not something that will be up to us anyway. That's something that townspeople have to vote on.
Right.
The only thing we're not sure of yet is whether it's going to be a ballot question or a warrant article. And as we get closer to the deadline for warrant articles, if we haven't heard from the state, we'll contact them. But I'm sure they'll be sending something out.
Yeah, I hope it's ballot.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
I'm sure they're going to put something out to all the towns.
before March.
That. And I hope it's a ballot too, because otherwise it could be a lengthy discussion at town
Right,
meeting.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Door at community center.
Curtis, that's you.
I don't know if that's been done or not.
Well, it
honestly.
hasn't, as of last week when I worked, it hadn't been done.
I'll get a hold of them again.
Okay.
Okay,
Helping Hand. We got a note from Helping Hand thanking us for our annual financial contributions in the past, but stating that they no longer need it. In fact, let me just dig that out and read it. One of the things that we do with our budget is we provide some financial support to a number of organizations that provide support to the people of the town of Troy. So it's Dear Town of Troy Board of Selectmen. In past years, the Helping Hand Center has requested taxpayer funds to assist us in the operation of our food pantry. At this point in time, however, we are in a position to no longer need that assistance. It has become more apparent each year that individual townspeople, businesses, churches, and our schools have become increasingly supportive of our efforts. So please remove Helping Hand from the town budget. Thank you, Jean Drug, Managing Director, Helping Hand Center.
Yep, they're doing really
Yeah,
well.
that's good.
Yes,
That's good,
it is.
because they certainly help the town out a lot. Can you imagine how much money we'd be spending on welfare if we didn't have Helping Hand?
Oh, we couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
We'd be bankrupt.
Okay, complaint 83 High Street. That's in here somewhere.
Allan, just put it underneath that folder.
Oh, yes.
There we go. Okay. Now what I would like to do is, I would be more than glad to take that
Okay,
and call the woman
all right.
and tell her that the situation is being taken care of,
Okay,
okay? And,
and the proper bureaucratic language for that is you're going to investigate it.
well, it is investigated.
All right, and then you can report back to us next week on
Yeah,
that.
will do.
All right, census. Last Friday, a week and a half ago, I went to a Census Bureau workshop in Merrimack to find out about this letter that they sent us,
Yes,
asking us to sign on to this project.
yes,
It was very vague.
right.
And I came out of that workshop knowing a tiny bit more than I knew
Oh,
going in.
God, you went all that way and,
Well, no, I learned enough for us to be able to discuss it and make a decision. Here's what happens. You know, we got the census comes up every 10 years. 2020 is the next one. But the Census Bureau wants to make sure that their address database is up to date. Because the big part of the census is mailing these things out to every household
correct.
in every
State.
municipality in the country. And they know that over 10 years that things change, that you get new construction, you get conversions where one family home may be converted into 3 or 4 apartments, you get an in-law apartment added onto a house. So every individual address, every living unit, they want a record of. They start their database with the post office's database, the delivery addresses. And then they would like us to review that. Now, if we sign on to this, we have to sign a confidentiality agreement. Each individual person who will have access to their database signs a confidentiality agreement. Even though there's no names or any other identifying information on these databases, all it is addresses. But that's how
All right,
secure they want this to be.
okay,
And we are not allowed to use the final output of this for any town purposes. All we can do is help the Census Bureau update their database and then turn it back over to them.
okay, so all they want is us to work for them.
Yeah,
For free.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but let's look at this now. There are certain types of funds that come either from the federal government or from the state based on census data. The more people that you have on your latest census report, the more funds you're eligible for. I don't know what we get that way, but highway block grant may be influenced by that. I'm sure that mileage, highway mileage is in there, but population may be in there. Anything that requires looking at the town's population, they look at census data.
Okay, now how do we do this? If we signed and went with this as a participant, is that something that we would have to physically do? I mean, how do we check this? How do we make sure that record is correct? By our tax records?
That's one way. What we would get a database, and I haven't seen it, but there is somewhere online, and I wrote the address down, where you can actually go on and see a sample of what it looks like.
All right,
And basically, it's just an address list. It says that for example, Richmond Road, it would start at number 1 and go all the way to number last, and it would just list every address on that road.
okay, so we just have to check to make sure their records are
Yeah,
accurate.
well, yeah, and there's 2 things we would have to do in there. One is, we would say, oh, well, there's new construction, and I know there's a couple of new houses in the last 10 years up on Richmond Road. We would have to add those in.
Okay,
You're looking perplexed.
I am, where?
There's a couple of houses on the left, 2 houses right next to each other that were built in the last 10 years.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And then, if there's a house that's a residence that's no longer there, a house burned down,
We have some of those.
yeah, then you would delete it.
Okay.
And there's, I guess, there's certain coding that you would put on there. And when you're done, you've got a list for Richmond Road that is accurate. And again, they're starting with the post office's delivery addresses, so it's probably 99% accurate to begin with.
Okay.
Where it gets a little tough is where you've got a conversion.
Apartments.
Yeah, somebody had a large one-family home that they bought and converted into 3 or 4 apartments.
Yeah.
They want to know not only how many apartments are in there, but they want to know how it's numbered. Because, again, because it's based on what the post office is going to deliver these census documents. So, for example, if you had a building that you converted 2 up and 2 down, you might number them 1, 2, 3, 4. They want to know that. It might be 101, 102, 201, 202. Could be ABC. However you did it, they want to get it because that's the way the address will be when it gets mailed out.
Okay, so who would do this? I mean, there's no way that you and Marcy will have time.
Wait, there's more.
Oh, God, no.
And again, you'd think there's a lot of time to get this done because the census isn't for a few years. But if we sign on to this, we don't start it immediately. At some point within the next few months, they would send us the information, the package that we need. And we have a choice. We can get it in a hard copy. We can get it online only, or we can get, there's a couple of different
Options.
components to
Okay.
it. And you can take one part of it digitally and one part hard copy. But they send this to you, and when you receive it, the project must be completed in 120 days.
Okay.
Now, if we sign on to the project and then decide, look, we're just not going to get this done, that's fine. There's no penalty for not completing it. Their recommendation was, if you're not sure, go ahead and sign on, get the materials, and if you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Okay, what do we get if we do complete it?
If you do complete it, then in 2020, the census number for the town of Troy will probably be a little bit higher than it would have been had we not done the project, because they will do a better job of accounting for everybody. There's no way the census comes in with more people than you've got, but it could easily come in with less people than you've got. So the more accurate the database is, the more accurate the census is.
For school purposes, tax purposes, we don't
Well,
want.
for school purposes, it's student enrollment, which is not from the census.
Okay, so what is your recommendation?
Well, what do you think?
I think we should do it.
Okay, Curtis?
I think we should do it,
Okay.
but I think we should also have access to the information as well. I mean, if we're doing all the work and.
Well, we're not going to get access.
No, we're not gonna
That's
get
not gonna
access
That's
to
just my
names.
opinion.
Absolutely not going to happen.
No.
They were adamant about that.
Well, it's just like welfare. It would be like us publishing.
Well, that's not the reason. The reason is because they know, that the Census Bureau knows that a lot of people are leery about sharing personal information.
Oh,
Even though this database is just addresses, there's nothing else. They want to make sure that people understand that nobody uses that but the Census Bureau.
okay, it's protection for the
Exactly.
citizen. That's fine.
Even though, I mean, I can't imagine what we would do with it that would be improper. There's no personal information, there's no names on this thing.
I know, but you know what, Alan, there may be somebody out there somewhere.
Oh, an unlisted address or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I can think of a couple of people that would think that.
Okay,
Okay, now, when you say we should do it, you mean
sign on.
sign on?
Mhm.
You agree? Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking too, okay. So I move that we sign the forms, which I've got, actually I only need one signature, which I'll sign tonight before I leave, and we'll mail it in. Because the deadline on this thing is in about 2 weeks.
Okay, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, we're working for the Census Bureau.
For
free.
Yeah.
Again,
All right, KRT letter. I read this earlier and I don't fully understand it. They are the ones who do our assessing. And it said they would like to reach out to us for a statistical update. Let me just read it. As the town of Troy's contract assessor, KRT Appraisal would like to reach out to the Board of Selectmen regarding the town's obligation to complete a statistical update in 2018 as required by the New Hampshire Department of Revenue. The last update of values occurred in part of the 2013 full revaluation completed by KRT Appraisal and is required to be completed every 5 years. KRT Appraisal has maintained a good working relationship with the town since the last revaluation of as the town's contract assessor. As a result, we would like to offer our services to complete the statistical update in-house as an addendum to our existing general assessing contract dated April 9, 2015. Many smaller communities in New Hampshire who contract with an appraisal company for general assessing have moved to in-house value updates. The town can save money as it costs less to complete the work in-house due to the familiarity of the town by completing prior valuation updates and the vested interest to maintain the assessments moving forward. If the board is interested, KRT Appraisal will be happy to meet with you to further discuss the upcoming valuation needs and associated costs. Thank you. We will look forward to hearing from you. Okay, I'm not sure what this in-house statistical update is.
Okay, what I'm assuming it is previously they went house to house.
Well, they still would according to this.
According to that, I'm thinking they're coming in and checking our records in-house, in this house.
Well, it said we're required to complete a statistical update in 2018.
Many towns, they say in there,
Okay, here.
go.
We'd like to
read
offer
that.
our services to complete the statistical update in-house as an addendum to our existing general assessing contract. So I'm reading that as they're going to do the full assessment and they're doing something else as well.
But doesn't he mention in there that the cost is less? Didn't he say that?
Yeah.
Well, how could the cost be less if they're doing more?
I don't know. This assumes a level of knowledge that I don't have about
And
the
not
assessment
only that,
process.
okay, I would not be for just doing something in-house, checking records in-house.
Okay.
How do we
Well-
find out if somebody put an illegal apartment in, or?
I think the key paragraph in this letter is the last one. If we're interested, they'd be happy to meet with us to further discuss it.
Okay, there
I
we
think
go.
that's what we need to do.
Okay,
So Alissa, would you contact them and set up a meeting for a future Monday night? Or during the day if they need to? 'Cause where are they, Littleton? Or that's the map
They're
guys?
Mass,
That's the
yeah.
map guys. Yeah. We'll see where they are. Haverhill, Mass. All right. Change to PPM, that's Personnel Policy Manual.
That's the health insurance?
Yeah, the question came up today, and this had to do with a person, a full-time employee who declines health insurance because they already have it either through a spouse or from another job.
I have done that.
Yeah, and we have this in the policy manual at the library. In fact, our prior director was taking advantage of this. But we went looking for it today in the manual, and it's not in there. So what I've got here, where it says 5:1 health insurance, this is what is in the current Town of Troy Personnel Policy Manual. And it talks about the 85-15 breakout and everything else, but it doesn't talk about the buyout. So I want to add, and this, where it says add the following, I'll read this. Employees may opt to be paid a buyout in lieu of health insurance. The amount of the payment will be 40% of the premium for a single person. And that is lifted right out of the library's personnel
Okay, I
policy.
have a question.
Yes.
If they're declining health insurance, why are we buying them out?
Well, they don't have to decline it. For example, let's say I come to work for the town of Troy, and I'm already covered somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and this happened to me when I retired from the Army. I was covered by TRICARE.
Okay.
So I go to work somewhere, and I could say, well, I don't really need your health insurance. And with health insurance, it's really the employee who is paying for it. We say that we're paying 85% and the employee is paying 15%. That's not true. The employee is paying 100%. Because if we didn't have health insurance, we would have to pay more to get the same quality people. It works better when the town pays part of it because there's tax benefits to having the town pay for it. If a person buys the whole thing themselves, it's not tax deductible. So there were benefits to doing it, plus you get a group rate. So we're saving a bunch of money if they don't take it. So what happens, let's say that the policy, and I don't know what the rates are, but $10,000 for a single person, is that ballpark?
It's like 800 and something a month.
That's about 10,000. Okay. Well, let's just, for the sake of discussion, say that the single rate was $10,000. So if I come in here with a family, and what is a family going to be? 20,000?
22.
22,000. So I come in and I say, okay, tell you what, it's going to cost you $22,000 to insure me and my family. But if you give me 4,000, I won't take the 22. You look confused.
I totally am. So.
Okay. Well, let's say I come in
No,
here.
I
Okay.
understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
but why are we giving options? It should be either you are hired by the town of Troy and you are under our insurance plan, or you don't want the insurance and do not sign up for it.
I'll tell you.
And if that's the case, I'm not going to pay you to not sign up.
All right. I'll tell you the reason that we want to offer this is to save $18,000. Here's why. I come in to work for the town.
But is
Right. Let me
anybody,
finish.
okay, go
I
ahead.
come in to work for the town, and I've got a family, and it's going to cost $22,000 for the town to insure my family. But my wife's got a job with health insurance, and we've got a family policy over there. So I say, give me $4,000, and I'll just be covered by my wife's policy and save the town $18,000. And if you say no, then I'll take the town's insurance, and my wife and I will both have insurance.
But he's still paying into that policy no matter what.
15%.
I don't know, I'm not for this.
It's a common thing.
At all.
It's a-
I'm not for this at all.
Is the
No, it isn't a
40%?
common thing because my entire life,
Yeah.
I have worked, I had a great career, worked full-time for a major food manufacturer.
Yeah.
Never
Never.
took the insurance policy. Never, ever. And this was, I never heard of anybody in Pennsylvania that did this.
We're not in
That did
Pennsylvania.
I know.
They do
But
things strangely in Pennsylvania.
Why? Well, no, this is strange. I'm not going to pay somebody to not take our insurance.
Have you ever heard of anything like this?
I've heard of it. Yeah, I just don't know if is 40% of the amount, is that the actual going rate?
I'm not sure what the going rate is. Well,
I didn't know there
I
was
put
one.
40 in here because that's what they do at the library.
Right. I was kind of curious of what the other towns are doing for that rate.
Okay, so is there someone, is the reason this has come up because someone would like to do this?
Maybe. It came up because of a potential new hire who might be in that position. That applicant or potential applicant was not a party to the conversation. We were just trying to
Okay.
figure out what is the policy.
I gotcha, okay.
And I said, oh, it's in the manual, and we went and looked in the manual and no, it's not there, even though we did discuss it at a meeting before. But I think that was before you came on board.
Okay, I would like to follow this up though,
All right.
with like NHMA or somebody to find out if this is an option in this entire state of New Hampshire, or if there are maybe certain companies that offer this for a very special reason,
Okay.
or if it's just
That's fine, I'm not sure NHMA would have that.
Okay, then.
They might have to tell you what towns have it, town governments, but they wouldn't know what private companies do.
Okay, there has to be an insurance board of some sort within the state of New
Yeah.
Hampshire. Maybe I'll come in someday and we'll see if we can find something. Well, we're not quite as busy as we are right now.
All right.
Okay, so do you want a decision on this soon, or?
Well, I don't want to wait months, but for a long
Okay,
research.
do you
fund.
want to know
But
before
if
the
you want to
beginning of
table
the
it for a
year?
week, I'm fine.
A week, okay, we'll try that. I
Can
don't
I-
know. Sure.
May I say
Sure.
something? So I've worked in New Hampshire all my life. I've never heard of this option being offered at any point, any job I've ever had. When somebody says, if they have the option of taking the insurance or not taking the insurance, well, my wife has insurance. It's generally because the the spouse or the wife has a better policy and it covers better. So by declining this one, I'm going to go on that one. I think it's a decision that we all have to make, whether you want to, do you want to pay for it or not? You want to have the coverage or not? And I don't think, I just don't agree that just because I say, well, I'm not going to take the policy because my wife has better insurance, then we should be saying, okay, well, we're going to give you some free money then. Because yes, we're saving the amount like you had quoted, but if we don't pay them anything, we're saving even more.
Okay, you're right. But then again, if we didn't pay them at all, we'd be saving even more. Well, what would happen if we didn't pay them at all?
Right, but I mean, the option is, we have to pay them, so we have the option of, do we want to just give somebody, the money when we're not obligated to?
Well, I look at it this way. Whenever you have an employment benefit that costs the town money, like health insurance or paid vacation or anything else, that's part of the total compensation package. If you didn't offer them that, you'd be paying them more money. If we didn't offer health insurance, in order to get quality people to work for us, we would have to pay them enough that they could go out and buy their own policy on the open market. It's cheaper for the town to do this. When somebody comes in and says, okay, that's fine, I don't need this particular policy, we're saving, if it's a family, we're saving $22,000. And if we give back $4,000 in order to get them to agree to the 22, that's a savings of $18,000. And you say you've never run into this before.
No, and I worked
But
32
I want to tell you,
years.
I have. In fact, when I was in the Army, my wife worked for a place that, in fact, it was an insurance company. It was Cigna. And she worked for them, and she did the buyout. Because she was covered on my military insurance while I was still on active duty.
Which is a lot better.
Yeah. And I suspect, I've heard this with relation to other employment benefits. Somebody says, well, I never heard of that. Well, in a lot of cases, the reason you never heard of it is because it never came up. If you didn't, let me finish, if you didn't go to them and say, look, I'm not going to take the insurance on, I'd like a buyout, then the question never comes up.
No, the question with me did come up
It did?
because I
Okay.
said, yes, because I purposely asked before I said I
Okay.
wasn't,
All right.
before I said I did not need
Right.
the policy.
And how many places did you do that?
2,
Okay. And they're both in the food service industry?
yes.
That may be common in that industry. Municipal governments are like a world of their own. What's common here is not common in private industry, and vice versa.
Okay, so.
I worked for a company once and I worked full time. There were no health insurance, no paid vacations, no paid holidays. Worked Christmas Day. No sick time. Absolutely no benefits. You work, you get paid. You don't work, you don't get paid.
Okay, so why wouldn't NHMA know if this was common in the industry here in New Hampshire?
They would know if it was common in municipal governments,
Okay.
but not, I don't think that they would know whether that's common in the outside world.
Okay, I think if we just find out
Fine.
if it's
Yeah.
within the government, that would be good. If,
Yeah, that's fine.
okay,
All right, I move that
All
we
right.
table this until next week.
okay, I agree.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, John never showed up?
No?
John Collins, you out there?
Nancy?
He is not, okay. Then let's get into the budgets.
And that was about his article.
Well, it's good time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go through these in order, Alissa, and if there's one that you want to table, we'll table that individual one when we get to it.
You want to sign that real quick?
Say again, please. Oh, okay. This folder, Alissa, this is all the requests? Yeah, okay,
Yes.
good. So let me find that thing from helping hand and just slide that into there. We'll probably get that tonight. Okay, first item on the budget is Selectman's office. You wanted to postpone that one?
Yes.
Okay, so December 4th, we'll do that one. Okay, election and registration,
Can we, that one?
also
too? Yes.
December 4th. Auditors. You okay with that one? Okay. We budgeted $10,075. We only spent $82.39,
We actually received another invoice today for 36,
36.
so that would be over.
All right, so if we
Okay.
add 3,600 to 82.39,
I think about 12,000.
82.40, or so 11,840. Was there anything this year that was unusual? All right, then let's move that up to 12,000 for next year. Anybody want to comment on that? Agree or disagree?
Well, costs are obviously increasing, so
Right.
it's something we have
Right.
to do. We don't have a choice.
Well, we would have the option of shopping around for another auditor, but I think it's going to be pretty much the same.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to go with 12,000 in our request for the auditors. Judicial and legal. Well, we didn't spend very much in there at all, but I think all that's going
Oh,
to
it's
go to
coming.
welfare.
It's
Oh, it is?
Oh, it's coming.
Oh, well, do we know how much is coming?
No.
He bills us usually once a year, maybe twice a year.
Cy does.
Correct.
But we also have Hopkins Smith.
He's taken care of. No?
Yes.
Both times, yes.
All right,
He's-
so all we're waiting
he's
on is
within
Cy.
there.
Mhm.
All right, will you contact Cy and tell him we need a bill? 'Cause we need to
I
put our
hope
budget
that-
together.
I hope it helps. I don't know.
All
I'll
right.
try.
All right, let's table this one to December 4th. Town Hall,
Wait on that one, please.
we're gonna get out of here early tonight.
Oh, no.
Oh,
We're
okay.
not.
Regional associations, dues and memberships, that's an exact amount, so move to keep it at 2348.
It's actually 2345.
2345, okay. Everybody fine with that? 2345, all right.
Well, I'm trying to keep up with you.
Oh, you'll never manage.
Okay, just hold it. Okay. The one you just did was regional association?
Yes, dues, memberships, and subscriptions. That's
Okay.
NHMA, I believe, isn't it?
No, that's Southwestern.
Southwestern, okay.
Okay, and what was the amount
By Southwestern, you mean Southwestern Regional Planning Commission?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
what was the amount you decided on?
2345. Street lighting. We budgeted 16,000, it came in at 16,855.
We have one more month too.
All right, I move that we make that 18,000. You okay with that, Barb? Curtis?
Yes.
18,000 it is. Health administration. We budgeted 6586, spent 6378. Keep that flat.
Wait a minute. Go to that.
Where are we? Health administration?
Health administration.
Is there anything in that folder on that? That folder I have with all the requests?
There may be. I haven't looked in that folder yet.
Maybe we should wait on that one for now. This one.
All right,
Yeah, because Meals on Wheels.
all right. So we'll
Family
December 4th
services.
on that one. Okay, welfare general assistance. All right, this is the biggie. We budgeted 35,000. We have spent so far over 52,000. We're at 150% of our budget on this line item. Now, we know what happened last year. We reduced it by 10,000 in anticipation of my neighbor's house.
Right.
Then we didn't get an opportunity to bring it back up at town meeting because somebody called a question before I could get to it. But even if we had done that, it would have been 45,000. We still would have been short. So I think we should go to 60,000 on this. What do you think, Curtis?
Well, do you know what? With what we're going to discuss later, we could hit that or more.
All right. And we don't have a choice. We've got to spend it whether we have a budget or not. You comfortable with 60,000 in there?
Well, it's not like we have a choice.
Well, we have a choice in what we budget.
Right.
When the bills come in, we got to pay them.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
So we're playing a guessing game here. We're trying to guess how much we're going to spend on as yet unknown welfare applicants for
Okay,
next
I
year.
think minimum 60,000 at minimum.
And I don't want to go too far over, because you go over, you have to appropriate that money, and it affects your
Right.
tax rate.
Right.
So we're playing a very
Well,
difficult guessing game here.
This year, I'm sure we will hit, even though we only have a month left. We could
All right.
possibly hit
Yeah,
that.
I say we go with 60,000 for next year.
Okay.
You okay with that,
I
Barb?
second, yes. I
Yes.
second
Curtis,
that.
okay, 60 grand on welfare.
Okay, but where are we breaking it out here?
Uh,
Adding it
per-
all to the rent?
I would start with the first column there, January to December, and I would just take things like rent is a biggie. I would make that for next year
Electric,
55. Electricity 4,000. Let's make that 5. We didn't spend anything on heating oil this year?
No, it's been, working out that, fuel assistance usually,
Southwest?
yes.
Southwest Community Services?
but
Been
we
doing that?
just started getting colder, so that could change.
Yeah, but you also would get calls in January through
Right.
March, yeah. Well, that's good that Southwest, that's why we support them. Okay, water, sewer, we budgeted 1,000, we spent almost that much. Yeah, the big thing here has been rent.
Right, and there's no line item.
So I think we should keep everything else what we have it as, but just add the extra
You're right,
rent.
you're right. So let's just, we're gonna add 25,000, so make it $50,000 for rent.
Wow.
And that'll be 60 for total. Wow. Okay, everybody comfortable with that? I shouldn't say
Not
comfortable.
really.
Everybody
But what are you gonna do?
comfortable with the math? Okay. Support for public services.
Second hand's not taking any.
Yeah, so we'll
Zeroing out that one.
we'll zero out that one. Well, let's go through our folder here and see what we've got. Okay, Helping Hand, 0. MCVP Crisis and Prevention Center.
Child Advocacy.
I don't know what that
Isn't that
means.
not
They-
Child Advocacy
Oh.
Center? Right?
No, not VP.
Uh-uh.
No?
It doesn't,
What is it again?
MCVP, nowhere on here do they tell us what that stands for.
How much are they asking for?
Don't know yet. I'm just trying to figure out who they are.
Nanook Center for Violence Protection, I bet.
Oh,
Okay, probably, yeah. All right.
That's not even one.
have we ever donated to them before?
I don't know if we ever did it, but they're not
Alissa
on our
said
list for
no.
last year.
Alissa said no.
Okay. All right. They served the town of Troy by providing, I guess this is within the last year, they provided 374 service hours at a total cost of $11,455.62. They're asking for a 10% reimbursement from each town. So I guess they're looking for
$1,100.
$1,146. What do you think?
If they're supporting us, I think we should support them.
All right, so for 1150, we'll say. All right, so let's add
We have to add a line item.
MCVP for 1150. And when we go to the budget committee, we'll take this file with us. And anybody who wants to see it can examine it.
Do they list names of clients on there?
No, you can't
Oh,
do that.
okay. Well, I couldn't figure out what that was in the back.
Okay, American Red Cross?
They are not a line item either.
Nope.
We get rid of one, we gain two.
Want to give Red Cross anything?
You're always, we get a lot of those
From Red
every
Cross.
year. We just a week through.
Yeah, my personal feeling is I'm reluctant to support the national organizations.
I agree.
And if they're the local ones that are right here in the community, I'm more sympathetic towards 100
Curtis,
nights.
what do you think? You do get an opinion.
I just don't like giving people money. I don't like paying.
Yeah.
Well, people that give us services for free of charge all year long.
I understand that. I'm still irritated about the whole welfare budget. So
I agree with you
Oh.
100%. But if we're up to me, we wouldn't have that. Then it would be up to individual donations, and social service organizations could raise their own money, as these organizations do.
Right.
But our welfare budget would be zero. But under current law,
We have
We
to
have to
do
pay
it.
it,
We
yeah.
don't have a choice.
Right.
Not
Perfect.
only that, we are one of the states that towns do give out welfare.
I know.
The state I came from,
I
it
can still
was
be
the
irritated
state.
about the whole issue though.
all right, let's talk about 100 nights.
Just $60,000 for.
$60,000 so people can stay in motels rather than their car. Okay, you're all familiar with 100 nights?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You are? Okay. Let's see what they're asking for here. They're asking for 500.
Wow.
What do you think, Barb?
Is that a Keene organization? It is, isn't it?
It's located in Keene.
I think it should be supported by Keene.
Do they show that they've supported any Troy residents?
Well, let's see.
Or at least mentioned us, besides on the bill?
Troy usage. Okay, here we go. Shelter, 0 person at $598.42 per person equals 0.
So they
yeah.
didn't support us at all.
Not so far as putting, but let's see what it says here though. It says resource center, 5 people at $159.83 per person.
Okay, what's,
I don't know what that means.
What does-
Hey, I want to know this though. It costs $598 per night for one person to stay in a homeless shelter?
it's a high-class hotel.
My God.
What's the cost now for my neighbor's house?
What? Why are they even doing this? Why not just put them up at the Marriott? Yeah, I'm comfortable just putting this one aside. What do you think?
Let's skip. Instead of sending us a letter, they should come in here and at least lobby for it.
Okay,
Well,
Keene,
I'm sure they would if we asked them to.
Well, we're not asking them to.
Right, okay.
Hey, I'm just keeping it real. Just
All right,
okay, community kitchen,
yeah.
previously 1,500.
Let's see. They're asking for $5,000. And their letter, like, in all of these cases, we get 2 or 3 pages of statistics, which I'm not going to read into the record, but they're asking us for $5,000. They try to balance the amount of use the residents of town have made of the community kitchen in the last year with the town's ability to pay. One thing, though, the community kitchen is the source of food for the Helping Hand.
One of the sources.
One of the sources. And actually, there's the New Hampshire Food Bank, which is in Manchester.
Right.
Is like the central location. They send food out to
They disperse
regional
it. Right.
organizations like Community Kitchen,
Right.
who then send it out to the local organizations like Helping Hand. So even though they're in Keene, we in Troy do benefit from what they are doing.
Okay, and I agree with that, and I think there are a lot of people in Troy struggling just to buy food or just to buy heat. 5,000 if we had it would be lovely, but I think 1,500 is
I concur.
enough.
So keep that at 1,500?
Please.
Okay. Community Volunteer Transportation Company. You know, we supported them last year for the first time. This is a new organization, fairly new. There was a time when, I think it was the Red Cross was providing transportation services for elderly people.
And there was time we had none.
Right, but when the Red Cross stopped doing this 2 years ago,
They took over.
this organization, which in CVTC used to be Kentucky Valley Transportation Company,
Right.
and they served towns centered around Peterborough. But when the Red Cross stopped providing the service down in this end, they picked it up.
Yeah, they did.
Alan, does it say how many people they served in?
I'm going to get to that. We received 12 ride requests from 7 residents, and there were 4 unmet need rides did not take. Well, I guess they're saying 12 requests and 4 unmet, because they used volunteer drivers if they didn't have anybody available. They donated 18 hours of service at a value of $270 at $15 per hour, which is a lot more reasonable than what the other one was doing there, $598 a night. I think they probably would have done more if more people in town knew about it.
Yeah,
I
I agree, but go ahead. No, you
I've
don't
had a
think.
few people come in and say that they've called and like people don't call them back, so they can't get a ride.
Really? Oh.
And there's not enough drivers, volunteer drivers.
Well, they're kind of new in this area.
I say we stay with the 500 that we did last year.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
Okay.
Give them another year. So we'll go 500 on that. Okay, Monadnock Family Services.
With conditions, maybe we should make that.
Well, we'll see what happens over the next year.
All right.
More people find out about it. But yeah, I mean, you think about it. Since last year when we discussed that, have you ever heard them even mentioned?
No, well, I'm not that old yet.
Well, you don't have to be old to have heard them mentioned.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I give people rides, but they're afraid of my driving, so.
Okay, let's see what they're looking for. Monadnock Family Services. I don't think we gave
They're
them.
under health administration, that's why I wanted you to wait,
Ah.
because it's kind of,
Okay. So want to go back to Health Administration?
yeah, pull that one out, because
Okay. There they are. 2681. Why are they under Health Administration instead of under the contributions? All right.
Should we move them?
I don't know. I'm sure there's a good
Oh,
reason
let's-
for it. But,
Don't be moving anything. We're not moving anything. Okay.
they must be a good organization because they got a nice slick brochure here.
In color?
Yeah. I don't see anything in here that gives us an indication of what they're doing. Do you know what they do, Alissa? As town welfare officer, you should know this.
they help people with different disabilities, children that need extra help. They do a lot of different things.
What exactly do they do? You say you help somebody, what does that mean?
Well, do you know what I think with special needs children?
Well,
is it-
no, yes, but people with disabilities, if they need a caseworker, if they need, mental counseling.
They hook people up.
I'd be careful how I say that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound
So
right.
All right, here's what it says on the back.
No, but that's what they do. They hook people up with different services in
All
the
right,
community.
let me read what it says on the back of
Okay.
their multi-page, full-color brochure. 90 volunteers provide literacy support to 400-plus children in pre-K through 3rd grade in 17 elementary schools and 6 early learning programs. Upward of 90 teachers participated in this year's program.
That's it.
That's it.
I think that's just
Oh,
for that
that's
flyer.
not what I understood.
That's just for that flyer.
I say we give them the same amount as last year, it's 2681.
2681. What do you think, Barb?
That's fine. I wish I knew more about them, but that isn't explaining much, so. And how did we come up with 2681 previously?
It was on a piece of paper.
It was probably
Well, that's not
a lot of the organizations that ask for donations
Uh-huh.
ask for a specific dollar amount, and frequently it's an oddball figure.
So
Sometimes
they divide it out.
right.
by-
What they do is they compute it based on the number of contact hours, and there's a formula they come up with, as opposed to an even number like 1,000 or 1,500.
Okay.
So it's not unusual to see a weird figure like that. So you want to just leave that under health administration?
That's why I don't think that one was right.
I can't hear you.
Under Monadnock Family Services.
Yes,
That's what it is.
2681.
All right. You want to leave that as is?
Yes.
All right. So we're done with that and don't have to come back on December 4th for that one.
But only that one.
Okay. CASA. Court-appointed special advocates. You know what they do? Now, we did not give them anything last year. I know a few years ago
No.
we did.
Why are we supporting the court
The
system?
Monadnock Child
We're not.
Advocacy Center?
What happens here is, we actually had somebody from that organization come and talk to the budget committee a few years back. In fact, the budget committee arranged for a lot of folks to come in and talk to them in previous years. When you have a child, if you have a family situation where the court feels that neither the mother nor the father can best represent the child's best interests in a court environment,
Like a custody hearing or something?
there could be, they appoint an advocate, a guardian ad litem,
Right.
to come in, and you don't have to be a lawyer, but they do go through a training program. And they come in and they appear in court to, to represent the child's best interests without regard for what the parents want.
Okay, and they are saying they want the money because they have serviced us?
Well, let's find
Or,
out. They give the numbers here for Cheshire County and for statewide, but they don't break it down to Troy. In Cheshire County, they served last year 79 children. And it says this number includes children who use your town's schools and resources and live with foster parents or extended family members in your community. And they're going from July 1, 2016 to June 30th, 2017 on these numbers. So 79 were served. They had 32 volunteers who traveled 26,889 miles and worked 3,164 hours. That's just in Cheshire County. What do you think, Barb?
I say we should do it.
Curtis?
Because I'm thinking about a particular case right now where we will.
Well,
Or-
I'm inclined to give them something. They're asking for $500.
Right, and that's what we gave them previously.
I don't remember what it was in previous years. It's not on there because
Oh.
I don't think we gave them
But this is a case where, my feeling on welfare, I'm opposed to it. But in this case, the kids don't have a choice.
Right. And, yes, I do.
You're
think-
okay with it, Curtis?
What do
I'm
you
okay
think?
with 500.
So let's go with 500 for CASA.
But I got my own thoughts on that.
Want to share? Okay. Southwestern Community Services. They save us a
have a
bundle
amount?
over here. Yeah, and they're asking for $24.47.
It's
They
less than
went
what-
down.
I say we go for it.
I second.
24 for...
2447, because we're all familiar with them, what they do, okay? The only one left on there is the Monadnock Child Advocacy Center.
That's the one that Dave Ellis talked
Yeah,
about.
that is different from, even though they both have advocacy in their titles. This is the one that works with abused children, counselors.
Oh, okay.
This is one that I know Bucky Sheets was really big on when he was chief, and so is Dave Ellis. And we don't have a request from them, but I know that they are still out there and that they still need the money. And we've given them $500 before. I'd like to continue
I
doing that.
second.
Okay, 500.
I concur.
Okay, so just going down that list then, Helping Hand, 0. South, let's leave them in there. Don't delete the line because their situation
I
could
don't-
change from year to year.
So do I need to put $1 in there? Because we can't use it again if we zero it.
Oh, we can. We just have to make a new line item. We can.
Actually, that's true, you can't, because
You don't have to keep a dollar.
this is for 2018. So if they came back next year, if we deleted them, and 3 years from now they came back and asked, we could add them in, just like we're adding in CASA and MCVP.
Right, we can, we're allowed.
Well, we can't delete them anyways for 2 years.
Yeah, so no big deal. So we'll leave that at 0. Okay, Southwestern is 2447. Community Kitchen 1500. Monadnock Child Advocacy Center 500. CVTC 500. CASA 500. And MCVP is 1150. Somebody can add
Correct.
that up?
$65.97.
6597. Okay, less than we've had in the past, even with those
Additions.
2 additions, but that's because Helping Hand, which was getting 1,500, is now getting 0. And
Right.
that's just about what we gave to these other 2.
And we decreased it by 2.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because Southwestern asked for less. All right, so we're all set on that. Town Common. We budgeted $38.50, spent about half that amount. Let's see where the difference is. It looks like electricity came in quite a bit less. Well, everything was. General supplies came in at half, less than half. Do we have some unpaid bills here, Alissa?
We have one more electric bill.
All right.
Um,
I think we can cut this back a little bit. If we've paid $351 for electricity so far this year, it's not going to go over $400, right?
Well, I kind of have an idea why it decreased.
Yeah.
We changed all the light bulbs in all of the lanterns out there.
To LEDs.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we had the new electric installed,
Yeah.
and that is all efficient now also.
Then let's take
So-
advantage of it and cut the budget.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. I think we should go with 400 for electricity. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. General supplies, let's go 200. You okay with that?
Yes.
All right. Labor contract and services. We budgeted 2,500 for that. We spent 1,380. What is that, Alissa?
That's for the mowing,
Leaf removal.
leaf removal.
That's contracted out?
Yes, Jason Lawrence does it, the same
Okay.
guy that does me.
Or any reason why it was so low this year? Or is that always like that?
Well, we
I
haven't,
don't think he billed out this last one because he just got done cleaning it.
Right.
yes, he was just there
Just
over
doing it
the
this
weekend.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So we have another bill coming, I'm sure.
And-
Approximately how much would that be?
I'm not sure, cause sometimes he puts all the mowing
Right.
schedules every.
Then let's put
Right.
this off to December 4th. We're done. Finish the budget.
What about patriotic purposes?
Where's that?
right here,
And I got industrial development.
Oh, I don't have those. Or I missed them. Let me see.
So industrial development is it's zeroed out anyway, so that was good.
Let me find
Let's
that.
go right through that one. And there's your patriotic purposes,
We
Barbara.
kept it as a dollar.
Hallelujah.
Industrial development, we kept it as a dollar.
Do we want to even bother doing that?
Yeah, that's something that may get revived in the
$1
Okay.
and no cents.
I don't have those pages.
I'll let you borrow mine.
Oh, wait a minute. Here they are over here. I don't know what they're doing over there. Okay, industrial development. We're just going to keep that at $1. Keep it open.
And patriotic purposes will remain the same as last year.
$700.
Right.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Bruce?
You actually had $1 on there for budget.
Okay, no, no, no.
I know there's a good story
Here we
here.
go again. No, can we please just make it $700?
Why don't you tell us the story?
No, I'd rather not.
Well, we're only going to
Well,
keep it that way.
when you get the
This is
budget committee,
actual
you're gonna
budget
have to-
for it.
What?
When you get the budget committee, you're going to have to tell them.
This was at the budget committee already, and
Oh,
Dave's
okay.
presenting it, yes. And
Wait till
Dave
the
is
Troy
presenting
Fest.
it the next time with his budget.
Troy Fest one, right, not this one.
Because you were taking it, putting it on the Troy Fest. It doesn't belong in the Troy Fest. It has its own budget line item.
It always has.
Well, I'll
But
put it
when
on
you
the
were
Troy
there,
Fest.
all right, but it sounds like the budget committee's aware of it.
Yeah.
So, okay, fine. All right, anything else on the budget?
Uh,
So we just have a few things to go over next week. Okay, that concludes everything that we have except for our non-public session.
and John Collins.
Say again?
And John Collins.
He was due at 6:30. I haven't seen him.
Am I?
So can you present what he was going to? He said he thought you were going to do it. And he said, if you want me to come in, I will come in. He said, but I think Curtis is going to do it. And I said,
Wanna
I
wait a week?
called him back and told him that I put him on the itinerary for this evening. And he said,
Why don't we table that till next week then?
Yeah, because I didn't bring in the paper.
Yeah,
Oh.
okay. And would you contact John and between you and him decide who's gonna do what?
Yeah, I can do it. I just didn't bring the paper in, and
Well, you're blindsided here,
yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay?
I got flyers for everything else, though.
You go what?
Flyers for everything else.
Oh, I'm just fired.
Not the flyer.
All right.
I brought in 2 of the community center.
Okay, before we go into non-public, Barbara, do you have anything else?
not
No,
for it.
okay.
No.
Curtis, do you have anything else?
There was another flyer for craft night that the Girl Scouts are doing
Yeah?
for announcements. Just
Okay.
give me a second. I didn't bring in that
All right,
flyer.
while you're looking that up. Any public comments?
No, sir.
Alissa, anything? Okay.
So December 10th is Sunday. The Girl Scouts, they did, last year they did a craft night for Christmas and baked some cookies and everything like that, and then we donated the cookies to the Helping Hand and everything. Well, this year they're doing it again. It's going to be this coming the 10th of December. It's on Sunday from 1 to 3. Sponsored by the...
At the community center?
At the community center. Sponsored by the Troy Rec and the... I don't know what the Girl Scouts post number is.
Who cares?
Green Mountain.
It's Girl Scouts. that's
Yes,
what
the
it
Girl
is.
Scouts.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
yeah, I just forgot that.
All right. And then we've also got Bridge of Joy is on Saturday, December 9th. I only know that from the Facebook post.
Yep.
Okay. All right, then we'll get ready to go into non-public. Thank you
Have
for
a good
joining us.
evening, folks.
See you tomorrow.
Would you close that door behind you? Thank you.
Wait.
What? Oh, you're gonna put that on? Okay. Now, before we can go into non-public, we need to know which provision of 91A we're going to use.
And what did we decide, Alissa?
Let me read your options here.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Hang on 1 second. Okay. The dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee or the disciplining of such employee.
No,
No. The hiring of any person as a public employee.
that would be 1.
Okay, so that'll be B. Matters which, if discussed in public, would likely adversely affect the reputation of any person other than a member of the public body itself, unless the person requests an open meeting.
Yes, that's correct. That one.
That one
applies.
as well, okay? Consider, does that cover everything?
I don't know, I think.
Acquisition of the sale or lease of real or personal property?
No.
Okay. Negotiating pending claims of litigation?
Not at the moment.
Parole board?
No.
Security-related issues bearing on the immediate safety of security personnel? Applications under Business Finance Authority? I think we're getting into some
I
pretty
think
arcane
we've
stuff here.
covered everything.
Okay. All right, then. I move that we go into non-public session under the provisions of RSA 91A, :3, Roman numeral 2, parenthesis lowercase b, and lowercase c.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are in non-public session at 7:39 p.m. I move that we come out of non-public session at 8:44 p.m.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Move to seal the minutes of the non-public session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, minutes are sealed. Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 8:44 PM.